Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rogers Kaka Sungura YouTube channel. A big thank you for the support you're granting this platform, and I will always appreciate those people really supporting us in growing this platform, and may God bless you. There's an ongoing conversation in the world about the newest president of the Republic of Kenya, Donald J. Trump. He has decided to cut funding aid to poor countries, that is HIV, malaria, and tuberculosis medical supplies. You know, the United States is a developed country, and Kenya and other many African countries, they are classified as developing countries, those countries that are already developing. But the United States is an already developed country. Allow me to comment on this, ladies and gentlemen, and this is my opinion. It might please you, you might agree with me, or you don't agree with me, but all the same, we are here to discuss and get a solution to the future of our nation. Allow me to specifically address Kenya. We have a current president called William Samoei Ruto. Since William Ruto became the president, he has been traversing countries begging for support, financial support. He has been to Saudi Arabia to beg for finances. He has been to Korea to beg for funding. He has been to China to beg for funding. He has been to even the United States when Joe Biden was the president. He even was given a red carpet to go and beg for funding. But allow me to ask Kenyans this question. For all the fundings Kenya has received, do we have documents of accountability? Do we have any document that shows how those funds were spent? When Kajiado was hit by drought, the Kenyan government received 140 million from the British government. That's from Britain. That money, if you go to Kajiado today, ask those farmers who was cushioned. In fact, nobody. When we had floods, Upper Suswa, money was channeled to the Kenyan government to cushion those ones who were affected by those floods. Go to Suswa today and ask those people who lost their houses. Go to Nairobi and ask those people who lost their houses. Ask them if they have ever received any aid from government. Yes. Kenya had a climate change summit. You were in the Republic of Kenya when the PS was being interviewed by parliament. Alisema nini? Alisema akaunti ya hizo pesa ziliwekwa. It was directly being managed under the orders from the head of state. Then he was asked by the parliament committee, as a PS then, can you explain to the people of the Republic of Kenya the companies that were paid, their names, their directors, and the amount of money? The PS said, I do not have the details. So, the millions of shillings that were channeled to the climate summit, the billions of shillings, up to date, no one has ever known how that money was being spent. Let me say this. African presidents, especially in Kenya, are fond of creating crisis, self-made crisis. We have seen people create health crisis. They go beg funding. They go beg for medical supplies. Zinakuja through USAID, through World Bank, through other lending or donating organizations. Kaka I know there are countries that are going to suffer because they are used to AIDS. Yani kupewa, not AIDS ugonjwa virus, but the cash, yani kupewa. Kama ni mambo ya HIV, they don't have any savings. Kwa nini? They know they will be given. Mambo ya tuberculosis, the medical supplies. There are countries that their presidents, they eat money meant for hospitals with hopes that they will receive funding. That is what is happening in Kenya. Malaria. We raise revenue from our hospitals. We raise revenue from tax. When the budget is being discussed, or when the budget is being released, funds are set aside. But those funds are looted because they're very sure they are going to receive an aid from international bodies. So I'm here to boldly endorse Trump's move to cut off those aids. I'm here to support him. Why? They have made African countries, especially Kenya, to become lazy. We do not want to raise our own revenue. We are raising revenue, but that revenue is going into people's pockets. I did an analysis here a few years ago. I think it was last year. You can even go do your own research. Kenya raises yearly revenue that can be able to sustain Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda combined. So, Kenya's 1 year revenue collection can sustain Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda in 1 year consecutively without borrowing. Where do we take that money? Where do we take that money? We keep on borrowing. Every year, we are borrowing. Every time, Ruto is flying borrowing. Mumesikia, menda mahali fulani, amepewa bilioni fulani ya kujenga barabara. Menda mahali fulani, amepewa bilioni fulani ya kujenga hospitali. Ameenda mahali fulani, amepewa bilioni fulani ya... Right now, the doctors are crying. There is no protective gears in hospitals. Right now, nurses are crying. They have no protective gears in hospitals. Hizo pesa tunakopa wa Kenya zinaenda wapi? It is a time has come when we must learn to fund ourselves. And we are able. We are able. You know, up to now, I am surprised that we still consume milk from Uganda. Yet, Kenyans produce milk. Ingine, unaona ikiharibika kwa mabarabara. But we still consume milk from Uganda. Eggs. We still consume eggs from Uganda. We still consume maize from Uganda. A country that is able to produce. Ruto keeps on masquerading around and saying, we have increased farming. We have given free fertilizer. But, yes, hizi mahindi zinalimwa kutoka kwa wakulima zinaenda wapi? You don't want to buy from farmers. Go to Rift Valley here. Farmers have kept their crops in the house. Why? Because the prices in the market are so poor. Why? Because we have cheap maize from other countries. And we have refused to support our own farmers. And then we keep shouting, we are manufacturers. We are producers. From who? So, it is the best decision that it's high time African countries begin to depend on themselves. I like what Museveni says. I like how Museveni says. Museveni might have his own weaknesses, but sometimes that octogenarian speaks sense. He says, Africa, we are so rich. Africa, we have resources. Africa, we have minerals. We are the richest continent in the world. But upstairs, we are so stupid. We do not want to build our own wealth. Sisi ni wategemea tunategemea tu mikopo. Ila tunakusanya hapa inaishia mifuko ya wanasiasa. I hope this is going to serve as a lesson to African countries, especially the lazy Kenya. God bless you. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.